Hi, I'm Maureen Ambrosino, the Library Director at the Westborough Public Library. Today on Check It Out, we're doing a special mini episode to share some of our favorite holiday books and our book suggestions for good books to read during the holiday season, during the winter, or maybe some books that would be good gifts for the upcoming holiday season. So the first book I'm going to talk about today is called Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. This book was actually a suggestion from one of our library trustees, and she gave me this one based on my request for books that were inspirational, uplifting, kind of positive type books for this time of year. So she says about this one, the disclaimer she gave me, this one is hardly inspirational, but it is hysterical. It's more of a novella than a full-length novel, and it's recommended for adults and older teens. It's about a couple whose kids have grown up and moved away. Since the kids were not going to be able to be at home during the Christmas holidays, the father of the family decides to treat himself and his wife to a cruise. Everything goes as planned until his daughter calls with great news. She's engaged and she's bringing her fiancé home for the holidays. This was the basis for a really bad movie, Christmas with the Cranks. The novella is much better and a very fun read. So that's Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. The next one was also a recommendation from a library trustee. The book is called Sutton by J. Moehringer. Willie Sutton was a famous bank robber from the 1920s and 30s. During those years, he held up over 35 banks in New York City and surrounding areas. Willie may have been a hard-nosed criminal, but he was also quite the romantic. The author, J.R. Moehringer, claims Willie resorted to this life of crime to win over the love of his life, Bess Ender, a wealthy girl way out of his league. The story is alive with the sights and sounds of Broadway during the Great Depression. A colorful cast of characters guzzles bathtub gin, cracks open safes, and rages against a corrupt system. This story, at times brutally violent and at times hilarious and also heart-wrenching, will keep you well entertained during a cold winter night. So that's Sutton. Now, with the holiday season upon us, we're all doing a lot of extra cooking this time of year. So one of our staff members recommends this book, which is the Barefoot Contessa Foolproof. And on a really strong recommendation, she made one of the soups in the very first chapter and said it was delicious. It was a minestrone soup with bruschetta. So there is a bit of a waiting list for this book, but it will definitely be worth the wait. It would make a great holiday gift if you have someone who loves to cook on your holiday gift list. So of course we have to transition over to some of our children's books, because books are the best gift for the holidays. One of the suggestions from one of our teenage employees was the best Christmas pageant ever. This was her favorite children's Christmas book from when she was growing up. So if you don't know about this one, the Herdmans are the worst kids in the history of the world. They lie, steal, smoke cigars, swear, and hit little kids. So no one is prepared when this outlaw family invades church one Sunday and decides to take over the annual Christmas pageant. None of the Herdmans has ever heard the Christmas story before. Their interpretation of the tale, the wise men are a bunch of spies and Herod needs a good beating, has a lot of people up in arms, but it will make this year's pageant the most unusual anyone has seen and just possibly the best one ever. Another humorous holiday type book, winter book, is Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Cabin Fever. This is a really popular series among our 8 to 10-year-olds in Westborough. And this story, Greg Heffley is in big trouble. School property has been damaged and Greg is the prime suspect. But the crazy thing is, he's innocent, or at least sort of. The authorities are closing in, but when a surprise blizzard hits, the Heffley family is trapped indoors. Greg knows that when the snow melts, he's going to have to face the music, but could any punishment be worse than being stuck inside with your family for the holidays? This is book 6 in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. It's funny. It's not too long or too short. And the great thing about this book and these series, the illustrations are found throughout the book. So it just helps to make the funny story even funnier. That's Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Another recommendation for children's books is one by Westborough resident, author Andrew Clements, and this is The Last Holiday Concert. This book starts when Hart Evans zinged a rubber band that hit Mr. Minert, the chorus director. Actually, it started before that, when Mr. Minert learned he was out of a job because the town budget couldn't afford music and art teachers. Mr. Minert got so mad at Hart that he told the 6th graders he'd had it. They could produce the big holiday concert on their own, or not. It was all up to them. But what happens when a teacher steps aside and lets the kids run the show? Not what Mr. Minert would have predicted, and not what Hart Evans would have guessed, not at all. Out of chaos, infighting, compromise, idealism, and finally a fragile peace, the 6th grade choral concert was born, and they called it Winter Hope. But would it be the last holiday concert of them all? Read this one and find out. Next one is a new book we just received called 12 Kinds of Ice. The joy of northern winters, the magic of ice, and the warmth of a close-knit family is told in 12 vignettes and illustrated with Barbara McClintock's pen and ink drawings. This is a perfect gem of a family read aloud by the fire. 12 Kinds of Ice. The next one is called Little Red and the Boston Christmas Tree. This book was just published, just came out the beginning of December. Longtime Westborough school teacher Jill Guimond has written a charming story about the giant spruce tree sent from Nova Scotia to Boston each year to light up the Boston Common through the holiday season. This tree commemorates the generosity and kindness shown by the people of New England after a deadly 1917 explosion devastated Halifax, Nova Scotia. Adding to the local flavor, Westborough resident Brian Cunningham's beautiful illustrations have brought the squirrel characters, Little Red and Old Gray, to life. And that's Little Red and the Boston Christmas Tree. Next up is one that is probably familiar to a lot of people. We all know the little children's song, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And Jane Cabrera has done an expanded version of the familiar lullaby. This star twinkles all around the world, from desert to jungle, from pole to sleeping city, to the wonder of baby animals and their parents. Jane Cabrera's bold, colorful illustrations will entice the very young and their caregivers. It's a perfect gift for the new parent or the new grandparent. And the last one for today is called Just Right for Christmas. A bolt of beautiful red cloth, just right for Christmas, becomes successively a long cloak for a princess, a jacket for mother, a hat for Pa, and more in this tale of gift giving, until even the mouse has something warm and cozy for the holidays. Vibrant illustrations enhance this story for preschoolers. So we hope that you'll come in, take a look at all of these books. If you need more recommendations, our staff always has good books to recommend, but don't forget to come in and check it out.